Okay, just so that we could continue our discussion on distortion maps. So it was actually there. I didn't have to stop the video. And you are going to go ahead and click on it. When you are looking at this, make sure you are hitting My Document so that you can see and edit your own version of it. And then you would have to go back to this to hit Submit. So there you go. And here is what we are looking at. So all right, we have a test tomorrow. That test is going to be kind of long. If you get done with it in an hour, you probably did not put enough effort and you did not go into enough depth. And so you are going to definitely see that reflected within your grade. So, let's turn on. So make sure that as you are going through it, that you are doing a very thorough job on it. If you have any questions, you should sign up for Zoom. If there are technical questions, make sure that you get that done. I am usually available at 10:24, just a few minutes after, because that's when the bell rings. And I like to help with that always. You need to study tonight for 20 minutes, and you are going to insert a picture of you studying. You could take a picture of you being quizzed by your parents, or you can take a picture of like your notes and if you were highlighting things, and then you could just kind of add it there. And remember that you should be studying based off of your learning style. So if you are a person who has like a huge auditory percentage, then you need to make sure that you are able to like say it out loud and that you are hearing it, because that's just how your brain works the best way. For me, I am a visual learner, so looking at a screen like this isn't going to help me. I am going to need to see different colors. I am going to have to put some arrows and kind of make it more my own so that when I'm looking at this, I can see all of these different visual stimulus to kind of help my brain remember. Remember, we are all unique and different, and the way that is best for you, you just need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, okay? So distortion, we have a orange, and we have colored the entire world onto this orange. And this is going to be very similar to looking at a globe. When you cut the orange, you are going to see that there are some gaps in between. Okay, it's not going to be able to go on a piece of paper and take up the whole paper. And that's just because the shape of the world is round and spherical. And so when we are trying to put it into a paper, we're taking something 3D and trying to make it into a 2D, and you're going to lose some of the important aspects of it. When you are looking at this one, you need to make sure that you are doing a color, size, or highlight of important words, not just distortion. You also need to highlight what word in the definition is probably the most important. So when we're looking at distortion, it's just saying that if I go here and I make this into a paper and I, try and stretch this so that it turns into a nice rectangle, then there is going to be distortions. Think of if you were to ever take a picture on a very low quality camera, and then you wanted to make a big, huge poster of it, and then it's all pixelated. It's not very pretty. So the same thing's kind of happening. And we've been using the word distortions a lot with our pandemic and talking about numbers and distorting. People are accused of distorting the numbers and making the numbers look a certain way. So there's a lot of distortion. When we are looking at distortion, we're going to say that it's not entirely accurate, and that there's going to be parts of it that are going to kind of be stretched in order to fulfill your goals. Map projection, just the idea that a globe, and if we are going to flatten it out on paper, that it's going to kind of look a little different. Longitude is these lines that are on the globe going up and down. They're vertical lines. The equator is a latitude and it goes horizontal, but the longitudes go vertical. If you were a watching a spy movie and they're talking about a rendezvous, most of the time they're going to use coordinates, like where are they going to meet, and that's going to determine how they're going to, where they need to meet out of the whole world. So longitudes and latitudes are going to be very important when you're going to watch this video. The video is actually kind of cool, answer the questions. And then here we have just, again, all of these different kinds of things. One thing that the video kind of talks about is like, what is the best way to make a 3D circle, globe, sphere, and make it into a flat surface so that we could be able to see it or have it on paper. And looking at this, we kind of see some clear distinctions. One thing that is kind of obvious is looking down here, like my first one that I was looking at was, Africa, and counting the blocks and seeing if the blocks were all of the same everywhere else. Then I started following the lines and seeing if the lines were following everywhere else. And I feel that because it's closer to the equator, it's a little bit easier for it to make it into a flat surface. And we saw a lot of distortion over here at the poles, at the North Pole and at the South Pole. And you can see these boxes just look like it's so much bigger. Antarctica over here looks huge. It takes up the entire world. It looks so much bigger than, Africa on this side. But looking at these squares, they should be the same shape, the same size, the same distance as all of these other ones. It's just the fact that it's at the top and bottom that they kind of get stretched out so that we can have a nice, beautiful rectangle. Once you are looking at all of that, you are going to kind of go back and forth, and you are going to kind of answer the questions that are going here. Remember that your longitude lines are the up and down lines. Okay, so when we are asking about the lines of longitude for all of these different maps, that's what we're looking at. Okay, good luck.